Alright, as promised, here is fucking more relaxed, chill second channel kind of deal for my usual 2024 games top 10. If you didn't see the update video, which wouldn't surprise me, I normally do these on the main channel, but this year was kind of horrible in terms of getting anything done content-wise. And, I just didn't have a lot of time to play games and enjoy myself in general, so I beat exactly 10 games this year. Sorry, I'll try to keep the desk noises to a minimum, but no promises that it'll be completely noise-free. I beat 10 games total in 2024, and I just did not feel like it would be worth a main channel video because it kind of lacks any sort of spectacle or weight behind it. It's not, there's not really an accomplishment to being my game of the year 2024 because of how few games I actually played. Not to say that the games on the list are bad by any means. Well, most of them aren't anyways. Anyways, yeah, let's keep this shorter and less rambly. I have a tendency to ramble too much. Before we get into the actual top 10, I should probably define, well, my terms, because I don't do things exactly like some people may expect. When I say best games of 2024, I mean the games that I beat in 2024, not games that came out in 2024. I also put emphasis on the beat portion. It doesn't matter if I've been playing Library of Ruina for fucking 2 years now. If I didn't beat it in 2024 specifically beat it, it's not going on the 2024 list. As a consequence of this, there's like roguelikes that don't technically have an ending. Usually for those, I just kind of like set my own goal for what beat means, or just whatever a run is considered one if you can't even win runs in the roguelike. There's also multiplayer games, which don't really ever have an end to them, and I just keep those separate, not because of semantics, but more because I play multiplayer games for different reasons than I play single-player games, and it'd be weird to compare the two. So with that being said, I'd like to start with my honorable mentions, because why not? I feel like I need to put more emphasis on the honorable mentions. In previous lists, I kind of just, if they weren't qualified for the top 10, I didn't touch on them at all. So I replayed Psychonauts, the original, this year, and that was amazing. I still love that franchise, and it was just so nice going back with a more mature mind to see all the little details about mental health that I just completely missed when I played it for the first time when I was a teen. Still love that franchise, still great. Nothing changed there. Ultra Kill got some new content in the very last week of 2023, so I'm just going to mention it here in the 2024 video because I probably got to it in January 2024 anyways because I was on a trip at the end of 2023. Anyways, they added a new layer, which is a new set of levels basically, and holy shit, it is the best in the game yet. Ultra Kill has already been on my Game of the Year's list as the best FPS I have ever played, and that remains true. And in 2023, at the very tail end of 2023, they put out the best set of levels that I have seen in the game yet, hands down. Like, I don't even know how to describe it other than saying, holy fucking shit, my jaw is on the floor and I get tears in my eyes just watching people play it. It's so fucking good. So that's really cool. I would not be surprised when Ultra Kill gets its full release if I gave it a second Game of the Year award. Might even top the charts in the year it comes out, who knows. Celeste, my favorite game of all time, hands down. I am putting in the honorable mentions because I finished Farewell for the first time in 2024, early 2024. I set the goal for myself that I wanted to beat Farewell before I got anything else done game-wise, and I did that, and it was beautiful. I can't say that it touched on me the same way that the base game did. Narratively, just grief is not something that I really struggle with. But in terms of gameplay, it felt like an amazing extension of what Celeste what the base game laid down. It just felt like such a natural progression. Really, really fucking fun too. Like the level designs and gimmicks were so fucking fun and cool, and it's more Celeste. How can I not love it, you know? So that was excellent. Library of Ruina, which is something I mentioned in passing already, is a game that I've been trying to beat for 2 years, and I got a lot of progress done in it in 2024, but I have to accept that it's not getting done. 2025 for sure, definitely. I'm in the final stretch as of right now. And it is a sequel to my second favorite game of all time, Lottery Corporation. So there's a lot of favorites being thrown around right here. Anyways, Ruina as a sequel to my second favorite game, I have a lot to say about it. I think it does some things amazingly, and it has some things that I feel really fall flat, and it's going to be an interesting conversation either way. Definitely a good game, though. I definitely put it down as a really good game. It just has some weird stuff about it that I feel doesn't work. There's also a little indie title that, like, when I say little, I mean you could beat it in 30 minutes. Free little indie title called Funky Panic Attack that I beat, which I didn't actually list as a game that was beaten in 2024 because it's a free game that literally no one has ever heard of. It was cute. That's what I'm going to say about it. It was very cute and charming. The level design was a little lackluster. I feel like the developer is not super familiar with platformers or FPS games in general, so that kind of limited what they were able to put in the game. But nothing really overstayed its welcome. It was a fun, cute, charming little thing, and with very, very, very surprisingly good presentation for what is likely a student project. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, that's a fun little thing. You could check it if you want. Let's move on to the multiplayer games that I focused on this year. Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic is a game that I don't think is anything special in particular, but it is good. And, you know, a game that is good, that isn't over-monetized. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Deep Rock Galactic is one of the very few games left on this planet that has an incremental progression system without, like, a monetized bypass where you could fucking buy more currency with real world currency or whatever. And just by that virtue, as well as the game being solid, makes it unique and stand out and really good, because I like incremental progression like that sometimes when I'm feeling fucking brain dead and I just want to play a game and feel like I'm building up to something and working on something and making progress without actually having to spend any mental or physical energy to do so. So DRG has been really nice for that. I put like 150 something hours into it this year. As I said before, this year has been quite stressful, so not a lot of time to put mental energy into things. So DRG has been really good at helping me unwind, even if it wasn't technically an amazing game by my standards. Web fishing is a game that happened. I will be honest, I kind of ignored the whole web aspect of it and just kind of completed the basic web fishing fucking catalog where you catch one of every fish and said that was good enough. I also played with the cosmetics and like vanity sets because I think that aspect is fun in every video game. But yeah, I didn't really get much out of the social aspect because I don't get much out of any social aspect if I don't already know the people that I'm playing games with. Straftat is another game that came out this year that I played. I didn't play a lot of it, but it is quite well made. Straftat is a 1v1 shooter for free that is made by the devs of Bounty, which I have made a main channel video about. And it's just got a really unique vibe to it. It's very tight and fun. It's got a lot of fun level gimmicks and it's just really well designed, tightly put together. It feels like a FPS version of Duck Game. And, you know, if you like that, you'll probably love Straftat. It's just fun. It's just fun. It's just fun. More recently, I've been playing a lot of TTT, Trouble in Terrorist Town. The year is 2024, I know. But yeah, that's been fun. It's been something that I've been wanting to get into for years, but you know, you need like 10 plus people to get a good lobby going for TTT of people you know. Having 10 friends on its own is hard enough. Having 10 friends in the same room doing the same thing at the same time, Jesus Christ, as an adult, that is fucking impossible. But yeah, I found a little community that does TTT the way that I want to see it being done, which is to say, filled with gimmicks and bits and not really caring about the actual objective of winning, killing the T's or killing the Innos. You know, everyone's having fun, and that's what I'm happy to see. Oh my god, I'm so good at off the cuff talking, as you can tell by the way that I'm saying words. Apex Legends early in the year was another big one. Fuck you, Apex Legends. I'm making a video on it right now. It's still coming. I know I've been saying it's been coming for like half a year now. I am learning lessons about making videos and motivation, because holy shit, I just am so sick of this video. I don't like this video, but I need to work on it. I just feel trapped with this video. Even if it's not going to be a technically bad video, I just feel trapped with it, and I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of thinking of Apex Legends, and I want it gone and out of my memory. Even still, Apex, technically a good game, even if I loathe it right now. Fuck you, Apex Legends, you're a good game. With that, we could finally get into the actual top 10 list, the point of this video. Going bottom to top, of course. At number 10, Peggle Extreme. It's like 10 levels of Peggle with Valve IPs plastered on top of them. I have nothing else to say. I genuinely have nothing else to say. It's just kind of a handful of Peggle levels. Wow, crazy. 2 out of 5. Next is 20XX, which was... It's been so long since I played it, I'll be honest. From what I remember, it's got some fun aspects to it, but it kind of just felt bogged down by having to be the way that it is, which I know is incredibly vague and unhelpful. But basically it's like, I feel like the roguelike aspects don't add anything to the game, and I would have much preferred just like an hour-long Mega Man clone. Because every run feels the exact same unless you get one of the few game-breaking items. You always have to beat the same 8 robot masters or bosses or whatever. You're always going to be using the same base weapons, but you can only have 3 boss weapons at the same time. So it's like, I don't know, it just felt like every run was the exact same. The random layouts were kind of nothing because they were random. It kind of just, the level design wasn't interesting because it couldn't be interesting. Other than that, it kind of reeked of Xbox Live Arcade, that kind of era of indie games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just, you know, it definitely felt like it could have popped off if it came out like 2014, but it did not come out in 2014. I don't know what year it did come out in, but, you know, it's fine. It's decent. I'll give it that. It is not necessarily bad in any way. It's just more missed potential than anything. It was fun though. I did enjoy my time with it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. Number 8 on the list is the original Paper Mario from the Nintendo 64. Perfectly cromulent Mario RPG. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's got some cool music sometimes. I feel like its humor was kind of weak compared to a lot of the other more recent Mario RPGs. Its combat was alright. It's definitely leaning towards the easy side, which you'd expect from Mario in general, but, you know, it was fine. It was alright. It was completely passable. Had some good sound design sometimes. I'm really struggling to come up with anything to say, can you tell? It's seriously, like, it was just so okay. Let's just move on before I lose my mind. I think we're, number 6? 7? Who cares? 7, I think. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the original Phoenix Wright game. I think they were really, 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 really good at characterization. Writing the characters, like the base characters, and displaying those base characteristics. They did it so fucking well. And god, that game is funny sometimes. Like, genuinely fucking hilarious game sometimes. Samurai Turnabout fucking sucked. It was just okay, not all of it fucking sucked, but the investigations were kind of a fucking slog. I hated how you kind of just had to check every room, and then you hit a flag, and then you get to check every room again until you hit the flag, and then you check every room again until you find the flag. Like, that was not fun at all. And that wasn't exclusive to Samurai Turnabout, but it was definitely mostly in Samurai Turnabout. The first two turnabouts, I think they really, really nailed the, at least for me, I feel like the first two turnabouts really nailed the puzzle solving. I really felt smart, like I knew what the answers was, and like I solved it myself, and not like the game was fucking hand-holding me to show me where the things I'm supposed to click on are or anything. When it got later in, it kind of felt like less I was solving a puzzle and more just like pointing out any random thing to buy time, which, you know, in the plot you literally were buying time for a lot of these things. You're just kind of like grasping for anything, which, like, for the plot I completely understand, but it just wasn't fun. But I wouldn't mind it if the plot impressed me, you know? And that is a big problem with the writing. They're really, really good at characterizations, but I feel like no one went anywhere. Even, like, I can't even remember his name, Edgeworth, I just didn't care about. And it feels like Edgeworth is the only character in the fucking game that actually had a planned arc for him. Everyone else is kind of just the same the whole time, and that was disappointing. Another thing about the later turnabouts is a lot of the time you solve the case and know how to solve it before it lets you solve it. You gotta do things in a specific order. You can't point out this contradiction at the beginning of the case because they need that to be a big reveal later in the case. And that, you know, kinda sucked. I shouldn't say sucked, but it was, like, slightly annoying that I had to go on, like, a fucking side path to roundabout my way into the solution that I already knew was gonna happen, but fucking whatever. It was alright. I was definitely expecting it to be a bit better than it was, but I was also enjoying it more than I was expecting to at the same time, which is really paradoxical, so don't think too hard about it. I gave it a 3 out of 5, which means I thought it was good. Number 6, I think, for actual this time is Balatro. Very solid. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people were saying it is. I definitely don't think it's Game of the Year material, but it's very solid, very fun. Really good sound design, really good balance between everything. My main problem with it is that after a certain point, it becomes less about making clever plays or being smart and more about just reacting to what the shop gives you and following through with what your build is. It's no secret that 80% of the gameplay of Balatro comes from the shop, but once you reach those higher stakes, the shop isn't about making decisions anymore, and it becomes more about making do with what's in front of you. I don't know, I just feel like the game the harder the game is, the less agency you have in the run, which makes it kind of more boring. You get a rush when you beat those higher difficulties, but it didn't feel like something I wanted to do again, you know? I got my 1 gold stake win, and I felt done with the game. I got 50 hours in total, and I felt done with the game. I wanted to do more achievement hunting, but once I got to the point where everything was just an RNG check, or, you know, just beat the game 7 million times because you have to beat the game on every single fucking stake to unlock gold stake. Yeah, I got 50 hours out of it. It was fun, but I don't feel like I could get much more out of it. Next is Celeste 64, which was a free release, I think released last year? It might have been early this year, but I'm pretty sure it was last year Celeste 64 released as a little free thing to celebrate one of Celeste's anniversaries. I can't keep track of shit. And for a project that was made in I think it was a week, maybe it was 2 weeks, it is fucking incredible. I mean, I have an incredible bias towards Celeste because it is my favorite game for both emotional and gameplay reasons, but it was so fun, dude. It was so tightly designed and just, God, I was having so much fun with it. I don't know, it was just so much fun. Loved the little lore drops that you got too. It was great. I don't know if it's technically canon, but who cares? I loved it. It was so good. It was so fun and charming and makes my heart warm and all that. I don't know what else to say about it other than it was really good. It's free, so you could play it if you want. At number 4 is Mouthwashing, which a lot of people are talking about nowadays. Kind of blew up. It was really well executed. Holy shit, that game was well executed, super well paced. The way they used the fact that it's a video game was amazing. I don't think it's this 5 out of 5 life-changing experience like some people are saying it is. Maybe this is just me being a hater, but like, in terms of what the plot actually was, it felt a little basic. Again, amazing execution on what the plot was. Like, holy shit, it was like genuinely fucking piece of art, even if the plot was a little basic. The characters as well were very much just not necessarily stereotypes, but you know, you've seen these types of characters before. You've seen Daisuke's, and you've seen Swansea's, you've seen Curly's, and you've seen the other guys' names, Jimmy or something, and of course Anya. I will say a couple of the Bizarro sections felt completely unneeded and a little tedious. The fucking horse labyrinth was fucking horrible. Like, please just get rid of that. That added nothing and was just long and kind of confusing, but once you figure it out, it's not satisfying. You just kind of have to wait around a lot. I don't know. Either way, fucking excellent game if you're looking for a sort of horror movie experience out of a game. That's really the best way I describe it. Is it's like the best classic horror movie you've ever seen as a video game, but it's still a classic horror movie. Number 3, couldnt 64. It was really cool seeing a 3D collectathon platformer that actually expected the player to have experience with platformers in general. Like, I was shocked out the gate at what they were asking me to do. Not maybe out the gate, but like once you got into the actual big level, because the game only has one big level, I was like, I got lost because I wasn't expecting the game to tell me to make difficult jumps. I was like, oh, this must not be like the intended path, because usually these games don't have you doing these hard things. But no, this game like genuinely challenged you, and I fucking loved that. Like, it felt like it was made for adults who still play 3D platformers that look like kids' cartoons. On that note, it really nails, at least in the characters, that sort of mall emo scene kind of vibe, and it was really charming in that way. Nothing mind-blowing, but yeah, I really liked the writing. I will say that it kind of felt hard to ground myself in the world as an actual world. Like, it kind of, like, I definitely learned it over time, but it didn't feel like a place that would exist. It felt like a video game level a lot of the time. A video game level themed after a real place, but still, like, you know, it just felt like a little hard to get immersed into the world, I guess, would be the way to put it. It was also, like, weirdly linear for a collectathon. At least in, like, the first half or so, it felt, like, way too linear. But the fucking actual level design in terms of, like, challenges and, like, what you're expected to do was fucking awesome. Like, genuinely so many creative and fun fucking ideas. Like, holy shit, they utilized their movement system so goddamn well. Speaking of the movement system, like, the movement and just how your character feels, just walk around and jump around, feels so fucking good. Like, I mean, this is helped a lot by the amazing animation, but it just felt so fucking good for those, like, it's one of those, like, weightier 3D platformers that has you doing, like a sort of Banjo-Kazooie kind of thing. If Banjo-Kazooie wanted you to be a movement god despite its heavier, slower platforming. I don't know. I just feel like they absolutely pushed it to the limits in the best fucking way. The gimmicks were awesome. God, it was so much fun. In terms of, like, actually challenging gameplay, like, if all you care about is gameplay, couldnt 64, holy shit, that was fucking fun. Like, god damn. Like, really, all my complaints have to do with, like, non-gameplay, more like general artistic expression kind of reasons. Like, the story was kind of nothing. It very much felt like the end of the story was kind of just the first thing they thought of that worked. There's no real plot. So they kind of just had to come up with a reason why this end is conclusive. And, it works. It did feel conclusive. It just, it's hard to feel the weight of an ending when there's very little narrative build up to that ending. Oh my fucking god. And I just remembered one of the fucking gimmicks that they pull on you. Oh my fucking god, the game is so fucking creative. Holy shit, the things that they pull out on you, I don't want to say what it is because it's major spoilers and it's such a cool reveal towards the end of the game, but holy shit, this game has some cool fucking ideas. I'm rambling myself in circles here. 4 out of 5. Fucking great game. Not perfect. It does get it has a little bit of jank to it. It has a little bit of unpolished jank to it. And it felt weird that the game was kind of just like a tutorial level, then one big level, then the final level. That structure just felt off to me, but you still get enough time out of the game. I think I have 6 or 7 hours in the game. So it's not like it felt too short or anything for its own good, but it definitely felt like the game could have had more levels, I don't know if they really wanted to split up their content in more levels. The way that the challenges are designed are really well implemented into the one level. Oh yeah, the non-linearity. I don't know. There's a weird thing where the game is both weirdly linear and a collectathon. I fucking mentioned this already, but you're kind of expected to go back into the tutorial world after you've already unlocked things in the main level, unlocked a new ability. And that was weird because there's not really a lot of things to make backtracking easier in the linear tutorial world. It's still a fairly short level. It's just weird to have backtracking in a game that is still pretty fucking linear. I think that's all I have to say about it. Excellent game for all my complaints. Really, if you like platformers at all, Corn Kid 64, you should definitely check out. Going on to number 2 is Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls remastered, actually, not technically the original, but okay, I feel like I should have a brief history kind of thing. I played Dark Souls 3 because, maybe a year or two after that came out, because I heard that it was, a good entry point in the series, and it was, really good or whatever. And I was annoyed at it. I felt like a lot of its systems and mechanics were really poorly explained, and I just didn't feel good to progress in that game, and I couldn't really put my finger on exactly what about the game turned me off, but it just didn't feel great to progress in that game. I went on to play Bloodborne because that is considered one of the best games of all time, and I thought it was fucking amazing. So clearly, it's not the Souls games in general that are the problem. I went on to play Dark Souls 1, which is what this rant is actually about. And it was excellent. Holy shit. Holy shit. You could just... The way the game is structured, the way that the map just kind of constantly is turning back on itself, and it's just fucking... You could go anywhere you fucking want, as long as you know how to get there. But, on your first run, you don't know how to get there. It fucking leads you through this linear path, through this very, very open world in such a fucking cool way, dude. Just the structure of everything before you get the Lord Vessel is so fucking cool. A new player is guaranteed, not necessarily guaranteed, but fucking really, really strongly and well led on this linear adventure. And then you replay the game, and you could go anywhere from fucking anywhere. You start the game, and you could beat the bosses in whatever fucking order you want. Everything before you unlock Sens anyways. Holy shit. It's crazy what they did with the world design. The larger world design, that is. The more specific level design, I don't think it was anything crazy good. Definitely not bad. But it was just good, I'm not really thinking about how cool and clever a lot of these areas were. I did like the descent into Blighttown, but that's more just the aesthetics. Those kind of dense layered fucking ladders and bridges everywhere. Those kind of environments. especially when it's like fucking rickety wooden, kind of like haphazardly thrown together. Those kinds of environments really get me going. So that I liked the Descent of Blighttown a lot, but not because of the actual level design, just because I liked those aesthetics a lot. I thought the depths were really cool. I will say. That was a fun section. Darkroot Basin or whatever, yeah, it was fine. Undead Berg, yeah, it was fine. Like, I can't really think of any particular moment in terms of level design that I was like, wow, that was a lot of fun. But I also can't think of anything in particular that was, like, stands out as being bad. Except for, of course, you get to the end game. I do think that people exaggerate how bad the end game is in Dark Souls 1. Duke's Archive, I liked Duke's Archive. New Londo. I was using a super heavy axe build, the Demon Great Axe or whatever, so hitting Ghost was really fucking annoying. I'll just say that. So the ghosts were fucking horrible, and the run back to the Four Kings was awful. Lost Izalith and Demon Ruins, you could tell, like you could fucking see and feel that everything about those areas, Izalith especially, was just not fucking finished, man. Like, you could tell they were just out of dev time at that point of the game. The funny thing is that I don't even think it's a bad area to play. You could tell that they ran out of time, but it's still, like, fine, you know? And Catacombs and the Tomb of the Giants. Catacombs was fine. A little bit hard to navigate, but it was still a cool area. Tomb of the Giants? Fuck the Tomb of the Giants. Actually, fuck the Tomb of the Giants, okay? Like, that is the one area of the game I will say was not fun, is Tomb of the fucking Giants. Holy shit, dude. It's not that it's a dark fucking labyrinth where you could walk off the edge at any time, and it's a fucking dark labyrinth that you could walk off the edge at any time with enemies that fucking kill you in one hit. Like, and this isn't me being underleveled or anything, just like the fucking skeleton dogs or whatever they're called. Holy shit, those things are hard to hit before they just shred you in one combo. God, what a horrible area. And it ends with Nito, a fucking horrible boss fight. Oh my god, Nito was horrible. The fucking constant summons that just keep reappearing and they poison you, and fucking the skeletons have attacks that can hit you from, not necessarily hit you from off screen, but like they start their wind-up off screen and then they hit you very fast, and there's a fucking swarm of them. And then, you know, Nito on himself is completely doable, but the fucking swarm of constantly respawning skeletons while dealing with Nito's long-range attacks, oh my fucking god. Having to keep track of the Wrath of the Gods, the fucking 3 million skeletons attacking you from off-screen, god, that was just not fun. Yeah, other than Tomb of the Giants as a whole, I didn't find any area particularly bad. It was mostly just good. Ariamis was actually quite pretty. Ash Lake, I will say. Holy fuck. The vibes were just immense in Ash Lake. I love that so much. Like, the fucking atmosphere so thick you could cut it with a knife kind of deal. Like, holy shit. I was like almost on the verge of tears walking through Ash Lake. Narratively, I was like surprisingly into the game. I was surprised at how good the writing is in Dark Souls 1. Because in Dark Souls 3, it kind of felt like the writing was bad. I'm just gonna say flat out, the writing that I experienced in Dark Souls 3 was bad. Just flat out bad. These characters just fucking ramble off fucking random Shakespearean dialogue, and they don't have any personalities, and they're fucking, who cares about any of the NPCs in Dark Souls 3? That's how I felt. Like, this is just nothing filler dialogue. Dark Souls 1, like, these are actual characters with motivations and beliefs, and that was like, holy shit, I care about these people? I have actual opinions about this random fucking merchant that sells me bullshit I don't actually want? Like, that. Oh god, the writing is like, I'm not gonna say I was blown away by it for fucking, it's not life-changing or anything, but it was like really, really cool. And like the whole narrative of like linking the fire versus letting it die out was like, holy shit. that's really fucking cool how they handled all of it. Like, there is no right choice, and like, well, let's be real. I think there is a better choice, and being a better choice makes it the right choice when you only have two choices. But yeah, the whole thing with like linking the fire, the light, everyone is like telling you to fucking fulfill your destiny by linking the fire. And when you start actually looking past this bullshit that when loyalists spoon feed you, you start to reveal, you start seeing the cracks in the ideology, and you start fucking seeing how flawed it is. And like, everyone's either ignorant or known to be deceitful. And like, it just the way they handled that light versus darkness narrative, the classic narrative, was so fucking cool, because it's like, you know, you assume that the light represents goodness or whatever, but the second you actually think critically about the actual actions of the people involved, it's like, oh my god, maybe I am an edgelord. Maybe I should be an edgelord. Sorry, Dark Lord. Anyways, funnily enough, the bosses were one of the least notable parts about the game for me. 90% of the bosses died before they could do anything interesting, and when they were doing something, it kind of was just like, okay, I roll through it because this game is not hard. That is my number one takeaway from Dark Souls Remastered after hearing about it, people talk about it for 12 years, is the game is not hard. It's just not a hard game, and I don't know why it has I don't know why it has been propped up as this hard game. Like, sure, it challenges you, it expects you to learn and like fucking analyze what's around you. You can't just hold forward and expect it to work, but like, the game's not hard at all. Like, most of these bosses have like 3 attacks, and usually one of them isn't even a threat to you. Off the top of my head, the only boss I struggled with was, outside of the DLC, the only boss I struggled with was the fucking bell gargoyles, which is funny. Again, I was running a great axe build. At that point, I didn't have a great axe, but I forgot to dual wield. So I was just kind of like neutering my own damage by a significant portion at that point. And the second I remembered that you could dual wield, it became a lot easier, I'll just say that. ONS, yeah, I don't understand why people struggle with that boss at all. Like, literally just keep an eye on Smo as he slowly lumbers towards you, and you can hack at Ornstein because he is always in your face, and you just fucking roll through his charge attacks, hit him a couple times, then make some space so Smo doesn't catch up. And then once you get to the second phase, just watch for the big attacks and roll. Like, I don't get why ONS is considered this fucking crazy hard boss or anything. In general, a lot of the parts of the game that are like notoriously bad or whatever, I just like got through with very little effort, and I am shocked that they are notorious in any way. Oh yeah, Capra Demon and Bed of Chaos. I understand why people hate them. I thought they were funny. I was laughing at how bad they were. I get that most people don't have a fucked up sense of humor, or, you know, are masochists like me, but I thought it was funny, so I think they're great bosses, and that's how that works. I had a lot more to say about Dark Souls. Getting the 100% was not the most fun, but it was doable. It's mostly just a lot of grind checks. Oh, and the DLC. The DLC's boss fights were the best boss fights in the game, but not good enough for me to be like, wow, this is a boss fight game, like a lot of other people seem to think Dark Souls is. The actual levels of the DLC, I like the Royal Woods. That was a fun open area where you kind of like see the same area but under a different light. That was fun. Ulasil Township can suck my ass. There's 2 enemy types, and it's a hallway. It looks cool, but god, it is a long ass hallway with 2 enemy types, and the fucking projectile enemies throw their things super fast, and it's just annoying. And you have to respect the enemies too, because they do enough damage that, yeah, whatever. Ulasil Township was not fun. The Abyss happened so fast that it's not even worth mentioning. Artorias and Manus were fun. Calamite was a lot of fun. Sanctuary Guardian died in one cycle, so I don't really have an opinion on that. A lot of the bosses in general, cycling back to that, a lot of the bosses I beat on my first or second attempt. And if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So my game of the year is Cavern of Dreams, which I already made a fucking video about, so I'm gonna keep this brief. God, the game, it's so fucking pretty. It's such a beautiful fucking game. The atmosphere is perfect. The writing, you just don't expect it to be as good as it is. It presents itself as this kind of like, okay, this is just an excuse for why you're collecting the eggs. It's not really like anything substantial. It's kind of just enough to push you forward. But as you dig deeper, it unveils itself to be this fucking, not necessarily crazy, but like genuinely nuanced and emotional thing. It's like, holy shit. God damn, that hit me out of fucking nowhere. It sneaks up on you. It's so fucking good. The puzzle design is so fucking perfect. I feel like I kind of regret how little emphasis I put on how good the level design in Cavern of Dreams is. Like, oh my fucking god, everything is so fucking pretty and so well put together. I really regret spending so long of that video focusing on the lack of polish that really doesn't matter that much. I don't think it's a perfect game by any means, but holy shit, I think I have this problem where I spend more time complaining than complimenting, and hopefully I will be better about that in the future. But when I'm trying to be like concise and like keep it short, it's hard for me to say more than just, wow, this is really fucking good and well done, without just directly spoiling and showing examples, you know? Whereas when things are flawed, I could talk about not only that it is flawed, but why specifically it doesn't work. When things work, generally, they just work. Like, when something is fun, it just is fun, you know? I mean, a better reviewer could probably go into depth about the specific systems and how they interplay and how that creates a satisfying feeling or whatever. But, you know, it's just easier to talk about negative things than positive things in general. Now, that's besides the point. Cavern of Dreams is fucking excellent. If you're looking for a slower paced, more exploratory, maybe not necessarily puzzle game, but puzzle driven platformer, Cavern of Dreams is fucking excellent. It's very cozy, I'll give you that too. It's very cozy as a game. You don't really die or take damage ever, you kind of just get knocked around, so you have to, if you fail a platforming challenge, you kind of just fall down and crawl back up and go at it again immediately. It's a very heartwarming game, I'll say that. It feeds the soul, especially if you have specific nostalgia for N64 platformers. Anyways, that's my list. Once again, I'm working on that main channel Apex Legends video. I hate it, so it's taking longer than it should because I hate it, but I'm gonna try to get it out as fast as I can. So, I could start working on other things. I'm also facing some production issues. There's a lot of real world stuff going on. I'm not happy that this thing is taking so long to come out either, believe me. I just have to deal with shit as it comes up, so, we're just gonna have to wait together. Sorry that 2024 has been such a lax year for me, but it is what it is, and we shall see what happens in the future, lol. Hope this wasn't too rambly. Again, I want to try to do more second channel supplementary content because it's easy, and I like rambling and talking about things. It lets me talk about things that I wouldn't otherwise talk about because I don't feel like I have enough to say to make a full channel video. But yeah, fucking Happy New Year, everyone. I don't know how to end these things.